Okay, we had a little delay there. So start cage from any string before we leave this little topic here. Alright? What we want to do is either play it through. So if we're going to start, say, an E shape, from the 4th string it's going to become a G. Alright, so E shape, say an E shape G here, an E shape C. From the 4th string we'll start on this C. E shape goes short one, and then a warp long one, warp long one. Becomes a G. There's an easier way to remember that, and that is if you start a cage shape from 1 string up, it goes a perfect 4th up in cage letters, except, I don't mean to make a weird, except, like, you're not going to like this, but it works. Except if it's C, it'll go to E. So just like the tuning of a guitar, you've got all 4ths and 1 pair of 3rds. Somehow that works. I'm sure the two of them have something to do with one another. So if you're doing a G shape, say a G shape G, if we started it from the 2nd string, G would go to D. From the 3rd string, D would go to G would go to C. From the 3rd string, C would go to E. Okay, so if we start that same thing from the 3rd string, it's going to be an E without even playing it through the warp or looking at the chart. So it's a G shape, warp, so that's about it for the start cage from any. This is a valuable tool, and we can work it into anything we're doing. All right, so that's start cage from any shape. And then we talked about yesterday, we talked about the minors and the majors here, and maybe I would have wanted to rearrange this chart, because when we take this root shape right here and want to push it through the warp, so here's warp 1 string and push it through the warp, really it should be this could go up here, this could go up here, and we're pushing upward. So that, that kind of worked out backwards, but it still works out, and it forms the chords. All right. The important thing to remember, if you just want to remember one thing or make it easy, remember something easy. For major or minor, okay, it's going to be just these shapes here. All right, and this is the unwarped. Unwarped, what does that mean? Unwarped means in all P4 tuning. So it would be the bottom 4 strings. So you'd start R, 3, 5, root. Okay, now I could start the 5 and go up 4 strings, but I'd have to start back down here for this pattern. 5, root, 3, 5. Just like that. And for minor, it's just like when I'm slide the little piece around the board game. If you slide this piece over to here, you get this, and then you have a minor 3rd there and therefore a major 3rd there. Okay, so it's starting on the A, but it's the same for the D and the E. The A is the relative 6th, and it's the same for the relative 2nd and the relative 3rd. Alright, so minor 3rd to the root, major 3rd, straight up for the 6th. Alright, now we want to start from the 3 again. We want to start from the 6 again. Alright, so you have to find another 6. Well, there's just not one around right now, because that one was right in the middle. Okay, so it would be like kind of like that's it. Wow, that is like the only 6th on this entire fretboard. Down here it would be down in music box land, and up here, this is it. The highest note on this low string. So it'd be 6, root, okay, 3, and then 6, just like that. And then start from another 6, then root, then 3. The reason why I started from the string is to stay on the bottom 4 strings so we don't hit the tuning warp. But any of these, once you put them through the tuning warp, what happens is they take on these chord shapes. Alright, so once again in review, let's just look at the minors for a minute. This is the root position, 6 root 3. Alright, 6 root 3. Now look at the next 3 up. Root 3, 6. That's the first inversion. Root 3, 6. So here's 6 root 3. Here's root 3, 6. And then the next position up is what? We got root 3, 6 for first inversion. It's 3, 6 root. 3, 6 root. So it's a big perfect fourth there, and a big minor third there. So that's important to know. That basically here, I guess we're reviewing a little bit from last time. From here we've got root, okay, and then from here we've got first inversion, and here is second inversion. All right, so remember those, you know, because that's not going to change, and it's pretty much the same thing for the you know, for the I'm going to see if I can do this in cursor mode here. For the major pattern, right? There you go. See, I line my charts up. I line my charts up good. Something like that, right? Root 3, 5, and then first inversion. It didn't grab the 3 here because the 3 isn't over there where the minor is. Aha. Aha, now we know that. Well, let's forget that drawing tool. So that is the pattern to play. Alright? And you have to put it through the warp. When you put it through the warp, you get these chords here. So this is first inversion, here's the second inversion, here's the third inversion. So this is the unwarped from string 4 or below by my convention. Alright, low string, string 1. Put one of them up into string 5. Play the R on string 5. It has to warp over, so it warps from here over to here. This is the chord shape you get. A minor looking thing. It's part of a C. Alright, this thing is an E minor looking thing, because remember, this is way down on string 2. That's part of a G. It's an E minor. Put both of them through the warp and you get this D minor looking thing that is part of an E. Okay, but this one, this D minor, that if you barred that E chord, that's what it would be. This would be the third of the E. It would be 5 root 3 right there. So this D minor, the root of the D minor, is part of the bar. Alright, when you're doing a C chord, the D minor is raised up a semitone. We talked about that, but it almost stumped us. So the D minor in the key of C, right, is raised up from the bar, from the C bar here. But when you play like an F here, you want to do that D minor, the same D minor. Now it's part of the bar. Okay, so there's 2 forms of D minor. One of them's part of the bar. So these are the chords they form. All right, so you put root through there, you get these chords. As the 3 goes through the warp, it warps over.